Blessed day to you, all my sports to the bone family. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope everybody is doing okay. Hope you're all having a fantastic Monday. I want to say a big shout out to all those who took the time out to say happy birthday yesterday. I appreciate you. I feel the love and I feel the support. So, shout out to you all. Now, yesterday on the Earth Strong, I had promised myself not to pay attention to West Indies cricket. But, I wasn't able to completely do that. I saw most of our batting and I also saw some of our bowling. In the early part of the game, I thought to myself that I was going to get a good birthday gift. But turned out to be the usual disappointment. Yes, turned out to be the usual disappointment, my viewers and subscribers. Anyways, as we get ready for the third and final ODI game of the series, I'm going to talk a little bit. So just give a listening ear. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Also, my people, usually on this channel, the only thing that I show is sports related. I don't show anything, hardly show anything outside of sport. But, my family and myself, we were lucky enough yesterday to go to the Georgia Aquarium. So as I work my way through this video here, I'll just be showing you guys some sea creature. I know it doesn't match up to the content, but I'm just sharing some of the experience that I was able to get yesterday for the Earth Strong. So let's give a listening here, my people, and let me know your thoughts as relate to the cricket. All right, so yes, my people, it was another huge defeat, right? Not huge, but West Indies losing by 3 wickets. I mean, we got off to a start where if we had capitalized, in the latter stages, in the middle to latter stages, when we were batting, we probably would have put the game out of England's hand. Our bowlers did pretty well. You understand? Our bowlers did pretty well. We can hardly blame them. I mean, Joe Root did what we know Joe Root is, what Joe Root will do. And after picking up some early wickets, I know fans will probably be tempted to say that we should have brought the game home. But I still need to remind people that 308 runs is not a lot of runs in ODI cricket. You understand? If you now score close to 400, it's tough. And going into this game, we looked at the history, and I think the par score is like 260 at batting first. That is the par score for at that venue. Unfortunately, we still weren't able to win, even though we got over 300. But everything is a learning experience, my people. You understand? It was good to see Casey Carty standing up and getting another century. You understand? Being very consistent is what we like. Shea Hope once again getting some runs, getting in the 70s. I think that, especially in the latter stages of the innings, he probably didn't monitor thing as well as I would have liked. But at the end of the day, everybody still need to hold up their bat. So I can't even put that on him too much. But, I still have to say a little bit of props to Brandon King and Casey Carty. You understand? They put together a nice little partnership. I think it was over 140 or something like that. So, that was good. It's just that we definitely need to find a way. We call on our players to give us good starts. Obviously, Joel Andrew got out pretty early. But no, King and Carty stayed for a period of time, set the platform. Then Shea Hope came in, he added to that. Unfortunately, Shimran Hitmaya, he came in, missed a straight one. Justin Greaves, forward chase. It went downhill fast. It went left extremely fast, my people. You understand, putting down catches. I mean, England, they had a very poor day in the field, but I am not worried about them. I think they dropped like 3 or 4 catches. You understand? And it cost them because Casey Carty went on to get a century. It cost them in terms of runs. Didn't cost them the game though. You understand? When we put down Joe Root, I think it was Joe Root that Shea Hope put down, if I'm not mistaken. He played a match-winning knock. You understand? Played a match-winning innings. Man went on to score to score 166 not out, basically carrying them across the line. You understand? So that is definitely something that we need to work on. I want to say hats off to Alzari Joseph. Alzari Joseph is somebody that gets a lot of stick. You understand? But walking out of that game with 4 for 31 from 10 was indeed a very good display. He came into the attack and he bowled fast. He roughed the batsmen up a little bit, and he was able to pick up some wickets. We still need to sort out the opening bowling, the opening pair. Jaden Seals 9.5 overs. He picked up 1 wicket to 56 runs. Ford gave away all of 70 odd runs. We definitely need to find a way to make sure that we're utilizing that new ball. I see where somebody was saying that Azhar needs to be holding that new ball. We are happy that he bowled well in yesterday's game. I understand the reasoning behind why they are trying that, having Seals and Ford. Those are two guys that they will get the ball to move around a bit. We know Azari can move the ball, but he mostly depends on pace, and he will bowl a lot of short stuff sometimes, So I can see why they are trying with Seals and Ford. Those are two guys that if they put the ball up in the right area, they will get the ball to move around and hopefully bring in edges and stuff like that. But, when it don't work, it doesn't look good. When it works, it looks really good. So we definitely have quite a few things to sharpen up on. As we go into the third game. Obviously, the series is gone. We definitely need to find a way to start winning games. When we put ourselves in good positions. We have to try and close games out. You understand? Obviously, sometimes you're going to come up against players that are just superb. You understand? And that is why if it's even a half a chance, you have to take it. You understand? Somebody like a Joe Root comes to the crease and offer you a chance. You need to take it. Root makes run scoring so easy. You understand? That's the reason the man is the leading run scorer in Test and ODI for England. England, which we know is an established team. Quite a few top players would have played over the years. You understand? And he has surpassed them, all of them. You understand? In those two formats. You want to talk about the Alistair Cook, the Kevin Peterson, the Strauss, Morgan, who he recently surpassed in ODI. He's a fantastic player. We cannot take that from him. But whenever we get ourselves in good positions, we need to find a way to make sure we are winning these games. You understand? And the batting map viewers and subscribers. Obviously, I'm not going to go through the scorecard. That game, I didn't do a review yesterday, so I'm not trying to do a review now in terms of the score or anything. Just talking about the game in general, but if we have a couple of guys, and if we have 3 guys in the top order getting good starts or good scores, we definitely need to find a way to get the middle to lower order to fire. From time to time, the middle to lower order will bail us out, but we need to be able to put a full game together. You understand? Casey Cartier, when he got out, when he got that century, obviously we've, all West Indies supporters, we were all happy, but as soon as he was looking to really and truly push on, you understand, he ran past one and got out stumped. He was in, and I would have loved to see him go on to get a big score, 150 or 160. Obviously, he was trying to up the tempo. This is not me blaming Casey Cartier or anything. But even when your team end up in a losing position, when you are in and you get the opportunity to really go on and get a big score, not very often you will present that opportunity. You will be presented with that opportunity. England at the time, they had a couple of part-time bowlers, trying to fill out some overs. So that is why I knew I was saying if he had stayed, he would have been able to push on. Hitmai, as I said, he came into the team. We were looking for him to really go on. He's mostly a T20 player now. When he came in, I think we had like 15 or something like that overs or close to that. Would have been a nice time for him to just bat and try to carry us through. But As I said, he missed a straight one, and then, the other guys, Chase, throwing his hand at one, and really, 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 really shaky stuff, my people. So we're hoping that the guys will be able to do something in game 3. But, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. I stayed away from it yesterday, didn't do anything on Saturday either. So I just said, all right, let me come and talk a little bit before tomorrow's game. Big up.